Okay, first of all, I linked my JS file, okay, and I already described you about this. Then you will go to the index.js file, okay. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the loops, okay, how we can use our loops, like how we can use for loop, for each loop, while loop, and do while loop, okay. So in today's class, we're gonna discuss some things regarding it, okay. Like I've given you some shapes, how you can design them using your loops, okay. But in today's class we have to discuss some events basically, okay. So for example, uh, I created a button over here. Let's say I have this button and I said its inner HTML is click me, okay. Now this is just a button. My event is like whenever I click on this button, I need some action to be performed, okay. Like for example, when I click on it, I want something uh, to get against it, okay. For example, if I say like I give an event over here, like it is an on click event listener, okay. This means that when I click on this button, I want something to get to happen, okay. So for example, over here I give a function here, like my function is to um, get btn. For example, this is my function, okay. Now I give a function over here. Now I will declare this function in my index.js file, okay. So over here I will create a function name is get btn, okay. Okay, so this is my get btn. Now first of all, I must have to get this button, okay. So when I get this button, I will perform something upon it, okay. So I have a class over here. You can give a class or id, anything, okay. For example, I have a class as btn. So first of all, I will get this button using its class name, which is btn. So over here, I'll give document dot get element by class name. Okay, the class name is the btn. Okay, so when I click on this button, I want uh, with work. Okay, now when I click on this button, my console.log will show document.getElement by class name btn, like it will get the button, okay, that button which I declare over here, okay. So when I reload it, and let me go to my console. Now when I click on this, you have seen that my button is coming over here in the console when I click on it, okay. So every time when I click on this button, like when I perform some event or some action upon this button, so you will see a console is happening, okay. So now if I want to get specifically that button, like you have seen that when we declare classes, so classes are not a unique identifier, like id is a unique and identifier, so we cannot give index number when we were calling an id, okay. But when we are declaring or when we are calling a class, we must have to give the index number over here. So this button is on the first line, so it is on 0 index. Now when I reload it and when I click on it, I'm actually getting my button, okay, not a list of like not an array actual, okay. I'm getting complete my event or element actual. So this is how I get my btn using class name, okay, by using the index number. So if I want to put something against it, like if I want to get alert on it, like for example, I want an alert to show also, which is clicked. Now when I click on this, you have seen that this alert is coming over here, okay. So these are the actions that are coming when I click on this button. But what if I have multiple buttons? Like for example, I can say that I have another button with something like click another button, okay, or anything. Now this is just another button, okay. Okay, Now when I click on this button, my alert is coming and my console is showing the button, okay? But when I click on this button, nothing is coming, okay? Why? The reason is because I haven't declared anything on this, okay? And if I give the class, the same class, which is btn, okay, what will happen? Again, nothing is coming over here. Like when I click on it, something is coming, but when I click on here, they click another button, nothing is coming, okay? The reason is because I put an event over here, which is on click event, okay? Like when I click on specifically this button, something will come against it, okay? But when I click on this button, nothing will come. The reason is because I haven't put any of the event listener over here, okay? So if I want to give something against it, like if I want to give an event listener, okay, I must have to declare here an event listener, okay? So I have to give an on click event, okay? And this time I have to declare a function over here, okay? So I can give another function if I want a different functionality to be performed, okay? But what if I want want to perform the same functionality upon all of these buttons? Like I want this, when I click on this button, I also want the same thing which is happening here, I want the same to be happen here, okay? So what I'll do here, this is an on click event listener with a btn class, okay? Oh, sorry, with a get btn function. So if I give here get btn, what will happen? Get btn, okay. I called the same function on both the event listeners, okay? And now when I reload it and when I click on it, alert is coming. When I click on it, alert is coming, okay? Now if I have thousand of buttons, okay, like we have the same class over here, and if I have like thousand of buttons, what can I do? If I declare them again and again, classes, or if I give them again and again event listeners, okay, so this is not a good thing, okay? uh, what I will do is I will remove this on click, okay. Okay, this alert is coming because the reason is this alert is coming on both of these, click another button and this click. It is just an alert, it has no condition. But when I click on this, you have seen that your basically your only button with a zero index is coming over here. Like if I can put a control Z here, okay, and if I give here something different, like for example, if I say that this is your button, let me initialize in the btn variable, okay. Basically this is your button. If I give button dot style dot background, sorry, dot style dot background is equal to green. Now when I click on it, it is getting green, okay? But when I click on it, it is not becoming green, okay? So basically I'm not getting the same functionality over here, okay? What's the reason behind it? The reason is I can only get this zero index, okay? And if I remove this index number, and if I want all of these buttons to get, okay, if I want to get all of these buttons, like these two of buttons, what will happen when I reload it? You will see that nothing is coming over here, okay? And the reason an error is coming in the console, that cannot set properties of undefined setting color, okay? So what does this error means? It means that it cannot set the property. Basically your property is color, and for example, if you give a color as red, it means that this is your that was your value, okay? So we have properties and values in our JavaScript. For example, color is a property and red is a value, okay? So cannot set properties of undefined means that I cannot set a property, like I cannot set color, background color, style, anything, okay? So I cannot set that property as anything of undefined. Okay, undefined means that I haven't defined which element should I want to change its color. Okay, so if I want to change this one's color, I must have to say that this is on your zero index. Now when I give zero index and when I click on it, so this is becoming green. And when I write over here one index, you will see that this is becoming green. Okay, and nothing is coming over here. So why, what's the reason is because I have to initialize here indexes, okay, one by one. So this is not a good approach. For example, if I have thousand of buttons, or if I have more than thousand buttons, what is a better approach? Okay, can I initialize again and again an index number? That is not a good approach. Okay, like we cannot give index number again and again. The better thing is to get all of the indexes. Okay, like to get all of the buttons. Okay, and we can get all of the buttons using our loop. Okay, so you have to get all of the buttons, and when you get all of the buttons, what you will do is the next step is you can perform the functionality upon that button. Okay, so if you have, if you got all of the buttons, it is easy for you to put a style or put anything against it. Like you can put any of the functionality upon that. Okay, so what if I want to get all of these buttons? First of all, I will give the button, like I will get these buttons. Okay, I will give the same class to all of my buttons if I want to get all of them. Okay, we cannot give them different classes because I wanted all of them to be, I wanted to get all of them basically. So I have given this class as btn. I also have given this class as btn. So first of all, when I get this btn, like when I log this btn, what will happen? You will see that when I click on it, a list of array is coming over here, and its length is 2. Like I have two buttons over here. Like, and for example, if I could have 1,000 buttons over here, your length would be 1,000, and more than 1,000, then your length would be more than 1,000. So it doesn't matter that you have two buttons over here right now. Okay, so the first button is on zero index and the next one is on one index. Now what if I wanted to get both of these buttons? Okay, what can I do? I will use a loop over here. Okay, how can I give a loop over here? Like for example, for I will start from 0, because your index number will always start from 0. You can also give this I1, but I'll start it from 0 as index number is starting from 0. And the length is 2, okay? And the last index is your 1. And I already told you about it, that if you write over here like I is less than equal to 1, you will only get two buttons. Okay, but if I wanted to get all of the buttons, for example, if I updated my array and I added another button, so what will happen if I added another button and I also wanted to get, so you what you will do is you will first of all write I is less than equal to length. Okay, like I should be less than your length. I is less than btn dot length. Okay, because btn has an array that contains all of the buttons, so the btn dot length, which is this, btn is this. Okay, and btn dot length is this. So btn dot length is 2 and I is starting from 0, so 0 is less than 2. It means when 0 is less than 2, so it will get 0 and 1 only. Okay, so I is less than button dot length, and then I will write I plus plus. Okay, it will increment the value one by one. Okay, so as your I is starting from 0, now when I write here console.log, for example, and this btn is has an array with the index number. Okay, so what if I can write, instead of writing here 0 1 and all, I can give here simple I. Okay, so this I is changing its value one by one. First it will get the 0. Okay, then it will increment the value from 0 to 1, so it will get over here 1. So first of all it will get the 0 index button, then it will get the 1 index button, and so on. For example, if you have 1,000 buttons, it will get all of the buttons. So now when I click on this, if I remove the above one, the above button which has an array, if I remove it, and now when I click on it, Now when I click on it, you have seen that both the buttons are coming. Okay, like for example, if I click on it, both the buttons are coming. So this is how we have got all the buttons over here. Okay, so now if I want to put some functionality upon it, like if I give the this btni. Okay, first of all, you will give btni. The reason is because btni has individually all of the index number. Okay, so if you write here variable x equals to, for example, btni, like I stored this btni in a variable which is x. So x dot style dot background. Now if I give x dot style dot background is equal to green, yellow, or anything, what will happen? Now when I click on it, see, both the buttons are becoming green. Okay, so this is how we got this functionality using the loop. Okay, like I got all of my buttons using this for loop. Okay, so this is the main purpose of our loop. So for example, if we have a functionality, like if we have different buttons, for example, if we have cart items, like multiple cart items, you can get them from bootstrap. Like you can get go to getbootstrap.com. Okay, you will go to the documentation. There you have some components. In the components you have a card. Okay, so if I copy this card and if I paste it over here. Okay, big dot row. Okay, okay. And if I go to the download, and I will include these files here in the head section. Okay. Okay. I have three card items over here. For example, mm, I can give them a picture. You can give here the pictures. Right now, I can take some title and, for example, I can say that this is a laptop and its price is, for example, 50,000. And I have a button over here like add to cart. And same, like for example, I have some electronics and okay, and then same I will put it add to cart. Then for example I have uh, here mobile phone. Let's say it is 1000. Okay, so we have some items here. Okay, so we have some items here. Now we can go to our table. Tables.
ठीक वैसे तो बैंक खुले हैं ना हाँ अभी खुले होंगे मैं चला रही थी सर आ जाए तो फिर अच्छा ठीक ठीक ठीक
Okay. Then you have a row here. Sorry. Inside this table, you have table head and table body. In the head, for example, I have here a title. It's unit price, quantity, and the total. Okay. We can remove this. Okay, this is just your structure. So for example, if I want, when I click on it, I wanted this and this title and this price to come over here. Okay, like I wanted to list down it. So what will we do? First of all, uh, we can do is we will get this card. Okay. Okay, first of all, I must have to get this buttons. Okay, like when I click all of these buttons, I want something to happen. Okay, uh, so what will I do? I'll give here a class to this button. For example, add to cart. Okay, so I'll give all of these classes as button cart. Okay, same as the button cart, I will give over here a button cart, and same here I'll give button cart. So now you have seen that I have given all of these buttons a same class as button card. Okay. Uh, Now what I will do is I have to get all of these buttons using this class name. Okay. So I'll copy this class which is button card, and over here I will get this button as btn card. Okay. And let me move this button outside of this function. For example, what you have written inside the function statement. Okay, like for example, if you have given a variable inside a function, its scope is only inside that function. Okay, so this is button. When I log this button, like when I log this btn, now this btn has taken the button card class, okay, like it has taken all of the classes. Okay, now here we have three buttons, okay, like zero index, upon one index, and upon two index, okay, like we have three three length of this button is three, okay. Now if I wanted to get all of these buttons, like I can give here zero index, again I have to give here one index and two index to get specifically this button, okay, like this. But if I wanted to get all of these buttons without giving here specifically index number, what can I do is I will use the for loop like this, just like this. I will use I equals to 0, I less than btn dot length, and I plus plus, okay, and x equals to btn I. Now when I log this x, you will see that it would have individually all the buttons. For example, now when I click on it, like without even click, okay, this functionality is coming without any click. Why this functionality is coming without any click? Because I haven't declared any of the event listener, okay. I have given these for loop and button, I got this button without any function or without any event listener, okay. So I got this button, and inside this button, like after getting this button, I put a loop against it, and I got all of my buttons from there, okay. Now my next step is to, like when I click on it, I want this button to get, okay, like so what I will do is I can give here directly event listener, like I can give here btn dot add event listener. It will do the same functionality, okay. uh, Button btn dot add event listener, okay. Add event listener will give you an event, okay, just like on click event and on change event, okay. So we have discussed about the on click right now. So when I click on this button, I put by btn dot add event listener. When I click on it, so I will give here first of all a parameter like click, okay. Like when I click on it, I wanted this functionality to click. When I click on it, I want something to happen. So when I click on it, the next thing is I will give here a function. You can give an arrow function or you can give a simple function over here. Inside this function, I have an event, okay. By default, you have an event, and event will get all of the like event has all the data which button has, okay. So with btn has, this event will take that, okay. So when I write event dot prevent default, it will default console your clear your console, okay. That's why I first clear my console, like when I click on it, okay. Now btn dot add event listener says is not a function, okay, okay. Btn dot add event listener, okay. The reason is I'll give here not btn, I will give here an x, okay, because x has different buttons. Now this X is taking all the buttons. Why this btn is not, btn was not getting the event listener? Because this btn has not specifically the index defined, okay, like on upon which index I want this to happen, okay. So that's why this btn was not working, okay, at that time. So if I wanted to specifically like click on different buttons, like when I click on this, when I click on this, so these all of these buttons have their index numbers, okay. Like it has a zero index, it has a one index. So I have to get the index number, okay. So for that purpose, what I'll do is I have defined a variable over here which is x, and x is taking all of the buttons with their index numbers, okay. So that's why I defined x dot add event listener, like specifically to that index. When I click on it, I want this event to get prevent default, okay. Now reload it, clear my cache. Now when I click on it, nothing is coming, okay. The reason is I just clear my console and have done nothing against it, okay. Now I want to put an alert over here which is clicked. Now when I click on this, specifically this alert is coming. Now when I click on it, this alert is coming. When I click on it, this alert is coming. Okay, so this is how you got all of the buttons, okay, using your JavaScript. And this is the main thing, okay, like you can get buttons again and again using your JavaScript. Like if you have thousands of buttons or thousands of data, it is not just about the buttons. It is about the paragraphs, it is about the different elements that you have used in your HTML and CSS. Okay, so if you want to get all of the elements, okay, you will use for loop for that purpose. So basically this is actually the purpose of the loop. Okay, I've given you assignments regarding the regarding different styles and different shapes. Okay, that assignment was just about your understanding. Okay, if you have cleared your concepts against it, you can easily understand these concepts. So is it understood? Okay, that's fine. So Gigi, okay, yeah, yeah. Value int or event? Okay. What this event actually does, for example, if I console this event, you will see what this event will is taking. Okay, like if I console this event, it's a built-in parameter that you have. For example, see, your actual button is coming over here. Okay, so this is basically taking that button. Okay, and why this is taking the button? Because X is a button. Okay, so basically initially this event has whatever you have written over here. Okay, this is taking that, this event is actually taking that. Okay, for example, if you give here an X, so it will first of all take this X, and X has different buttons with the index numbers. Okay, and it is taking all of those buttons. So what it will do is, like, it is taking, as it is taking all of the buttons, so it will this X has all the buttons. Okay, so that's why when I console this event should also have all of the buttons that are coming over here. Okay, yeah, understood. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Okay. Ahmed, I'll give you an assignment regarding it. Okay. Assignment could be of the same with the same scenarios. Okay. But you also have to implement this thing. Okay, which I have implemented in this class. Okay. So you have to implement it, and I'll check it definitely, because the next time in the next class we're going to cover, when I click on this button, I will get these items. Okay, so this is comparatively complex, that's why I'm not going to take this lecture to next level. So we'll stop here, but you have to do this practice and you will do an assignment against it, so for your better understanding. Okay. Okay, okay, and you have to submit it before the next class. Okay. Okay, and you haven't you have not answered those questions which which I have given you in the quiz. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, you can also convert it into Word. Okay, for example, if someone could send you a file in a PDF, you can convert it online. Like you have different converters, for example, PDF to Word converter. Okay, you have different online converters. So here you can convert your file. Like you can you can choose your PDF and you can convert it. Okay, so not a big deal. Just PDF to Word, okay, to Word converter. If you want to convert an image to something, you can write it, okay, in the Google. Your class is of 1 hour, okay. In Ramzan, basically our timings are less, so there is only 1 hour class. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.